Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of On the Verge podcast, the truth in podcasting, and also your conservative voice of Southern Oregon. Thanks for joining us, and please, by all means, stay with us tonight. We've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Not everything's cool; some of the stuff isn't so great, but we have some cool stuff to talk about tonight too. The intent of this program is to bring government to the people, and to be very transparent and to tell the truth. And we are a conservative talk show. There are a lot of folks that really like our message, and there are some that do not like our message. And that's okay if you don't like us. Like I've always said in the past, please don't watch. You can go ahead and turn us off, or you can come down here and see Justin, and he'll put together a podcast for you. Actually, Jake with Spider King now is helping us. You can come down, and they'll put together a podcast for you that's not conservative. But we only tell the truth here, and our intention is to bring government to the people so people understand how government works. Now, tonight we have some stuff that's not necessarily government related. We're going to be talking about a few different topics that are, and some that are completely not government related, and that's okay too. I have a couple of guests one guest with me tonight and one co-host, and I'm going to let Gina introduce herself. Gina, introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
So Gina Beam with Glider Revitalization, and I'm part of a bunch of different boards and involved in just about everything in Douglas County.
Yes, you are. And thank you for all the service that you do in Douglas County. It's amazing. I know that you and I talk a lot because we have a lot of stuff that we work on together. And sometimes I know when I call you and you're ready to just toss the phone in the river and walk away sometimes because of all the frustrations, and I get that. But
that's why I have a waterproof phone.
There you go. There you go. Well, thanks for being with us tonight. And my co-host, Trent.
Hey, everybody. Trent Drake. I am the chair of the Douglas County Republican Central Committee and Virgil's campaign manager.
Thanks for always being here with us.
And I'm like Gina. I'm everywhere all at once. I saw Elvis twice today.
Did you really? There you go. It's amazing. They always say if you want to have somebody get something done, give it to a busy person. And I have to say that the people in this room, anyway, they are busy people. And you don't see her. She's sitting off to my side here. But my chief of staff also is one of those people that you can give her stuff to do, and somehow it just miraculously gets done. And she's flipping me off right now. Maybe not.
I thought she was napping.
Yeah, it's amazing. So the first thing I want to touch on here, and this is just to kind of put it to rest, and I don't want to get too far into the details of this, but as most of you know, last Tuesday we did not have a show, and the reason we didn't have a show is because I was attending the parole hearing for Dustin Wallace. And if you're not familiar with that whole story, that was the story of the young, I wouldn't call him a gentleman, the young kid that murdered the 5-year-old, Sahara Dwight. And he's been in prison now for 16 years. And because of Kate Brown, and that was exactly why, Kate Brown did a clemency clause, I guess you could say, to Senate Bill 1008. And that gave juveniles who were basically they were sentenced to life sentences. It gave some of them, 79 of them is what I was told in Oregon, the right to have a parole hearing, and every 2 years to have a parole hearing. This was really difficult on the family because the family, obviously, they don't want to relive this thing. And I will get into the details a little bit of the parole hearing because I actually sat through it myself too. But amazing family. It took a lot of courage to listen to that stuff, and I mean, it was very. There was a lot of emotions in the room, but so our intentions as legislators, and also we had Commissioner Chris Boyce joined us, myself, David Brock-Smith, our senator, and we also had Christine Drazen, who is a senator as well, running for governor. The four of us got together and went to the hearing. There was some hoops you have to jump through to be able to go to a hearing at the penitentiary. You can't just walk in; it's not open to the public. But we were able to do that. None of us were allowed to speak. All of us were allowed to submit testimony, written testimony. Some of us did, but the intention of us going was to put pressure on the parole board and try to get the parole board to not only deny this guy probation, but to not allow it to happen again every 2 years. And we were successful in that. There was a lot of stuff that came out. There were people evidently online who put out information prior to the end of the hearing who did not understand what was going on. And one of the things that happened was, and it happened about a half hour into the hearing, was this guy, Dustin, whatever, I don't even want to bring his name, the murderer, said to the parole board that I don't think I'm ready to be out in public, and I don't think you should let me out. He really did say that, but that followed a couple of discussions that were had by the parole board. One of those discussions was this, and the lady, who was an amazing lady, the parole board was 3 people. I believe 2 were prosecutors and 1 was a defense attorney at some point in their careers. Maybe they still are. I don't know. We didn't get to intimately know them, but we were introduced. The question was to Mr. Wallace was, did you in fact murder Sahara, and did you rape her? He could not answer yes. His answer was he was convicted. And she asked him again, did you in fact commit these crimes? And he just could not admit to committing those crimes. Then the discussion turned to, what have you done while you're in prison to try to make yourself better? And there are resources available in prison for inmates to rehabilitate themselves, especially when they're a sexual predator or a murderer, for that matter. And he had done nothing. And he absolutely had done nothing, had not asked for any help at all until he got to Salem. And he's been in the penitentiary in Salem for the last 2 months or so. And prior to that, he was in Snake River. And prior to that, he was at Grants Pass at the juvenile detention center, which he tried to escape from. And I think he was in his early 20s when he tried to do that. So he had a long record of things that were bad, that were against him. I've had people, and I sat in the hearing thinking to myself, when he, first of all, couldn't admit to the crime that he committed, and second of all, said that he's not ready to be out in public, I thought to myself, and this is an hour into about an 8-hour hearing, I thought this should be the end of the hearing. But it wasn't the end of the hearing. And I kind of questioned in my mind is, why are they continuing this? And these things are hardcore. So every single thing that he has done while he was in prison, and even crimes prior to when he was arrested for this crime, was brought up. And in great detail. I mean, we literally, and the poor family, I feel for them. They literally lived through this entire event again, and I'm not going to go into the details of it because, frankly, it is sick. But there are things he's done in prison, like he has a porn addiction, and it's deviant porn. And somehow he was smart enough to figure out a way to get shared files in prison, and got caught. And then he has had a couple of fights while he's been in prison, and I'm sure that they were directly related to the crime that he committed. So there's a lot of turmoil. But this was something that the parole board wanted to make sure the entire hearing was brought out. So they questioned him on several things, not just whether or not he did the crime, but what he's done to rehabilitate himself, what his future plans are, what would he do if he got out of prison, how would he assimilate back into society, where would he live? I mean, they wanted to hear these things from him. I will tell you that he stated that he was attracted to younger women and older women, but not women of his own age. This is not a 16-year-old anymore. This guy is 32. And I'm going to just tell you, he was literally sitting maybe less than 10 feet away from me. And when he walked into the room, he was not cuffed. He was not shackled. When he walked into the room, he literally was maybe 2 feet from the dad. And I got to hand it to Tyler for having there was a lot of emotion in that room. And I even talked to the guards prior to it. And I said, you might want to get another guard. And they were pretty comfortable that they could handle the situation. But anyway, so we won in the end. The maximum amount of time that can be awarded by Oregon, basically law, was 10 years in between parole hearings for somebody who is eligible for parole. So we got that, and that the reason for the long drawn out situation was to make sure that they crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's and made sure that there was enough evidence to say, yes, this guy should not be released, and we're not going to have another parole hearing for 10 years. Now, they also said that it's up to him to figure out what he wants to do with himself, how he's going to rehabilitate himself. Frankly, he doesn't even admit that he's really ever done a crime. Now, he did finally admit to the rape, but he doesn't admit to being responsible for it.
Right.
And so I just want to say one more time tonight, my hat's off to the family. I feel for you. This is a tragic event that happened. And actually, there were other events that happened prior to this with other people that I'm not going to bring up tonight. But if you'd heard about that, if I did tell you what he had done in prior events, it just makes it even harder, because this guy should have probably been in jail his whole life or in some sort of a rehab program. But anyway, so I want to thank Senator Brock Smith, Senator Drazen, and mostly I also want to thank Chris Boyce, our county commissioner, for taking the time to go. I mean, we all spent the night up there ahead of time, spent the evening with the family prior to the hearing, and then we all went to the hearing, and the family just appreciated the support, and seeing that leadership was 100% behind them, I think meant a lot to them.
Right.
There was a lot of tears in that room, and I think that Commissioner Boyce knows the family well. They really respect the fact that he took the time out of his day, out of his couple of days, to do that as well. So I am going to just leave it at that. And Trent, you have anything you want to add to that, or
I do.
yeah, go for it.
So the event and the individual aside, this is bigger than that, right? Like the reason why this is so critical and was so important, it's not just about this one individual and one family. It's about the number of families that we are making relive the worst moments of their life again and again because of bad legislation, which is really
Yes.
what the show of everyone going was about. Yes, you're there for the support of the family, but the bigger picture is what's behind it, right? Is
Yes.
the reason this was so critical and important is because this isn't just one family this impacts.
Right.
There are multiple, countless number of families and stories out there about people that every 2 years are reliving their nightmare and they can't ever heal.
My understanding, there's 79 inmates eligible for this bill, this clemency clause, and so that's a lot of families that could potentially be affected by this. I will say, I didn't mention this, but I don't know why. A lot on my mind, but I am writing legislation to change this. I want to put legislation in place that will make the crime of murder and rape not eligible for parole if you're convicted of a life sentence or 2 life sentences in this case. Now we're in the process of writing that legislation right now. We won't see it until January probably when we get to session. Hopefully we can get it passed. I will also tell you that I personally contacted the governor prior to the hearing, and I asked her if there was anything she'd like to say, and I wasn't impressed with the reply, but she did say prayers to the family, but the governor, and maybe some things happened behind the scenes that I don't know about, but I think the governor really didn't take a front line to this, and she should have. I mean, this is not a Democrat versus Republican issue. This is just really bad governance,
Right.
and really bad calls. So, I don't know. This was probably that parole hearing was probably the hardest thing I've ever sat through, listening to and seeing him. And the look on his face, and he's not that kid that you see in the photos. He's 32, and he looks like, I mean, I don't even know how to describe him. He's the devil. I mean, he really is. And I know he's had a hard life, and I'm sure it's going to get a lot harder for him now, because I think he's probably going to be back in general population now. And he has not been. He's been in protective custody for most of this incarceration, which most of that was in Snake River, and I don't know where his future is going to take him. But I also forgot to mention Monique Despain was also present. She's running for a spot there at against Val Hoyle, so she also showed. I find it interesting though, even though this is not a Republican versus Democrat issue, why we didn't have Democrats show up, I don't know. I mean, if I was Val Hoyle, I would have been front line.
I think that comes back to too, it's the bigger issue, right? This isn't necessarily about the one individual. While that event in itself is absolutely a nightmare and no family should ever go through what they went through, it's a bigger issue. It's what needs corrected on a state level to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen, because it's not how many people that had never sat through and heard all those details were there. You just said yourself what you sat through was horrific, right?
Right.
it does forever change you. And acts like that have a trickle down effect that affect everyone around them, and even
Yeah.
people completely not even connected. So it's not just about an isolated event, it's what it does to society as a whole. And this is continuing to perpetuate that trauma.
Well, and I think that people that would have supported the clemency clause that she put into this bill should listen to this hearing and realize the horrible acts of crime that this guy committed. Now, I get it. I don't get it. When you're 16, you know the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah.
But he's been in prison for 16 years, and there's no remorse. You
I
know
think
what I
that's
mean?
the key, right? There's no remorse.
Yeah, there's no remorse there. I'm not even sure he don't want to get out. So, as far as I'm concerned, they can throw the key away. Yeah. And anyway, I love the family. They have, they sent me lots of messages and texts and, thank me for being there. Hey, it's my pleasure to have been there for you all. And, I mean, it's nobody's pleasure to be involved in something like that, but I couldn't not be.
Right.
That was, and I also want to thank our district attorney. They did their job, and Rick Wiesenberg, our district attorney, was there. Elisa was there. They did their job. They put this guy away, and they did the investigation, and there was a lot of work that was put into making sure this guy never got out, and it's not his fault. And a lot of times I know our district attorneys take a lot of heat for things like this. This is out of his control. This is a state issue. And this is not a district attorney issue. I think we have a really good district attorney here. So anyway, Trent, you got anything on it before we close that out?
Oh, just the whole subject is difficult, and my hat's off to Tyler. I've watched him now for the last month or two, and just, he's really showing some courage, in my opinion. And just when he was sitting with us, that was a difficult night for me. I struggled through that.
Oh yeah, I think we all did, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we're past all that, let's talk about something fun.
All right.
Gina, I know you're involved with Cloud Revitalization. I'm also involved a little bit with the nonprofit as well. We've helped you guys out politically when we can for dollars, and you got something cool coming up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have the Sasquatch Festival again. This is our 5th year, and it's June 20th. And we're doing a lot of creative things this year. We have a scavenger hunt going on right now. If you go online, there's clues, and if you find the Sasquatches we've hidden around,
just heard that on the radio today.
Good luck. I have not found one yet. So you would think I would have the inside track, but apparently I'm not in the know. So I'm now actively trying to find them.
So who hid them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm assuming our marketing hid them. So yeah. But yeah, I don't even know where they are. The clues are not rocket science. I will give you that. But it's kind of fun, and everybody's excited to get on board. I thought I found one today, but it was actually for sale and not one of ours. So we have good bands coming this year. We have a ton of vendors coming back. We have, I think last count was over 80 unique vendors, and then we also have food trucks and mechanical bull, the bounce houses for the kids, all of the fun stuff we've had before. It continues to grow. Fingers crossed, it looks like the weather is going to hold out this year.
Better than last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would really like to be in shorts and a t-shirt, not a sweatshirt this year. That is my goal. So it's all coming together really well. And the night before, we have our annual fundraiser dinner. Which
I'll be there.
You're going to be there.
I'll be there.
I've reminded
We'll be there.
everybody multiple times you will be there. And then we flip that tent. It becomes our Bigfoot expert tent the next day. Sponsor support has been overwhelming again. It's a really fun event. It's free. We do charge parking, but I don't care how many people you put in the car. If you can get 20 people in a little tiny car, it's still just $5. So
Brings back memories of the movie theater.
right,
The
drive-in
Starlight.
theater.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Fred Bates. How many people you got in there? 4 in the car, 7 in the trunk.
we're really trying to focus a little bit more on the music too. Eventually, we would love to turn this into a 2-day event. Have some overnight camping, different things like that. But we need to push up attendance. So if you guys want to help us out with getting more people there, that'll push this into a 2-day event, and we can start doing even bigger and better things. But,
Well, that's why you're here.
right?
We're doing everything we can to help.
Yeah.
Do you know the bands that you have coming? I
I
should have.
do.
I probably should have knew that ahead of time, and I forgot to look.
Well, I had it printed and then walked off and left it. So the names that are not local, we do have some local bands too, are Jackie Roar is going to be our headliner. Buffalo Speedway. This band is back. I believe this is their 3rd year from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Really fun group of guys. You should ask them how many kids they have between all of them. I think it's something like 13 between all the guys in the band.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a ton of kids. I quit giving them merchandise.
So they bumped their
after
head
that.
somewhere along the way, right?
Yeah, they don't get free merchandise for the kids anymore. So, and then Erica Rochelle is coming.
Okay.
And then we have some local bands that'll be performing earlier, as well as some performances from local dance groups and stuff.
Okay.
And then we have our speakers, which is Ronnie LeBlanc, RGB, which is Ryan Golembeski, and Michelle Heaton, which are all well known for their Sasquatch expertise. And they'll be in their own tent giving presentations. We continue to grow it bigger and better every year. We've got a lot of very high energy bands again this year. I'm super excited to see how it goes.
So I got to ask,
Mhm.
do you believe?
For 1 month out of the year, I am a true believer.
I found him. He's in House District 2.
Yeah.
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 It's not me.
I will say, I never believed for years that we had wolverines up the North Umpqua. And
Yeah.
apparently we actually have wolverines up the North Umpqua. They were finally caught on
That's
camera.
true. I think they caught him on camera.
So all the years growing up on ranches, everything else, I've very rarely seen bobcats, cougars. I just didn't run into them that much.
Yeah.
So do I think there's possibly something out there that I haven't seen? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, there's a lot of stories. I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up as a kid. I was terrified because I went and watched In Search of Sasquatch. I think when I was 12 years old or
At
something
the
like
Jerry
that with
Lewis
my dad.
Theater.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was fine until those miners were in that cabin, and one of them popped up.
He
this
looked
guy
out
stuck
the
his head
window.
out. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was done. I didn't sleep for at least a month, and I was pretty sure that there was a Sasquatch looking in my window at night. I'm like, yeah, it was nuts. But Trent, you believe?
You know, I've been all over those woods up there, and I've heard sounds up there I just can't put my finger on. I did identify a howl though that I always thought might have been that.
Yeah.
Turned out it was a cougar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make some funny noises.
Yeah.
My son went up camping. Oh, it was almost 4 weeks ago. Way too cold to go up camping, but
Yeah.
decided he was going to. That's 20. So, and underestimated how long it was going to take him to hike out. Hiked in, one way in, one way out. And they heard something. And it was about an hour and a half hike out. And no
Yeah.
matter what they did, they kept hearing the sound. I've played him every sound I can find. He swears it's none of the noises I've played him, and it definitely spooked them pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% that him and his buddy both slept in the same truck, but I think they might have. The story is a little bit mixed on how that worked out. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's entirely plausible that there's things we don't know about.
I've been on dozens of search and rescue missions in the North Umpqua, and there's been many nights where we've deployed at 10 o'clock, midnight, hell, even 2 in the morning, looking for somebody who was lost or in peril or whatever. And I know just on the North Umpqua Trail alone, I mean, I don't even know how many miles I've hiked on it, but at night with a headlamp on, I've seen and heard some stuff. I turn my headlight off. I've turned it down on dim because I don't want to see past.
You don't want to know what's out
I
there.
don't want to know what's
Yeah.
out there because
Yeah.
I know that whatever it is that's out there, it's out there in the daytime too, and it's not bothering me in the daytime. And if I don't see it, I'll just be fine at night. But I did have I was on a rescue. I was a recovery mission on the. Am I losing my mic?
No, I'm coming in here with you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's got some input. Yeah.
Oh, I do.
I did. Well, I got to tell a story. So I did have we were on a recovery mission up on the section of the Dread and Terror, which is up past the hot springs one night for this unfortunate lady had passed away. And I think we hiked in about 4 miles or something like that to get her. And it was just kind of funny because I had a sheriff's deputy with me, and it was a young gal that was recently had been a deputy, and she's it's pitch dark, and it's it's wintertime, and it's 10 o'clock, and she's like, "Do you guys do this stuff all the time?" I said, "Yeah, we pretty much do this stuff all the time." She goes, do you ever worry about something getting you or something in the woods? I said, you see that 45 on your side? I'm not worried at all. And she's like, oh, yeah, good point. I said, but you better shoot first.
Right?
Anyway, what do you got?
Okay.
Oh, this is Justin. This is
production.
It's our production guy.
I decided to jump in here
Yeah.
because I have crew members who absolutely will not go and film in the Umpqua anymore unless I take a couple of decent sized guns from my collection
Yep.
with us.
Yeah.
Which is very funny because they're all videographers and they have literally been up there, and one of them got so spooked he dropped a $30,000 camera and ran down the mountain. And I'm like, you have the equipment to film
Whatever it is.
whatever it is that's scaring you.
Just
And-
before it eats you.
Oh, he had
Some
good
good
he
footage.
would not
Yeah.
go back for a long time.
Yeah.
So when I say that some people have experienced stuff up there, I have to pay extra money now to have more people go up there with me. So Bigfoot's costing me revenue is all I gotta say.
Well, listen, I don't own it. I don't own any guns.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay,
you don't.
well, I might have one or two. I will tell you when I backpack in the Umpqua, I always have at least a 380 on my side, and it's hidden. You don't know it's there. And I have a 45 in my backpack, and there may even be some more backup stuff besides that. And I don't. I've had people say, "Well, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of a bear?" I'm like, no, not really.
They're skittish.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the two-legged kind.
Yeah.
But, and they're not always Bigfoots.
And you know what's really
Wolves.
interesting? I was hunting up off of Elephant Mountain one time. Me and my son, we were coming down the mountain to the spur road at the bottom and walk out.
Yeah.
And I saw this guy come off the ridge, and my son and I, we pulled up next to a tree, and we just stood there, and he was very focused on something. And my son was, at that time, was shorter than me, my oldest boy.
Yeah.
And I reached around, I put my hand around his mouth, and I just told him, shh. And that guy walked right here and never saw us.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and so it's like,
how it
when
works
you're
out
in the
there.
brush, you got to keep your wits about you no matter what.
Like I could tell stories for all night long about search and rescue missions that we've been on, and because 80% of the time I wouldn't say 80, probably 70% of the time we go up the Umpqua, and I run snowcat for the county, and there's been many times where people follow their GPS and they end up trying to go to Crater Lake in the wintertime, and their GPS will send them 100 yards prior to that turnoff on a snowmobile trail, and it's groomed and it looks like a road until you get your Honda into the woods, and then eventually it's no longer a road. One night I get a call out. It was probably, I don't know, we didn't get the call till like, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, something like that. That there was this couple that had called in 911 and they're lost, and I had a pretty good idea where they were, but we took off up the river, and it takes, I'm towing a snowcat, and it's winter conditions. It takes a couple hours to get there, and they called like 3 more times while we were on our way up the river, concerned about where we were at. I finally just told dispatch on the radio, I'm like, hey, just tell them to sit there and talk bad about us for a while. We'll get there when we get there. we know where they're at. So anyway, we get up to the Crater Lake Junction, and we unload the snowcat, and there's some options, so I got to run them all out to make sure they're not there. Well, it turns out they were on that trail. They had not, in their Honda, they had not made it all the way up onto the main road that goes past the guard shack. But when I got to them, and I'm in the snowcat, and I got the big scene lights, the LEDs that point down at the ground, there are wolf tracks all the way around the car.
Oh gosh.
And they had no idea. They were so terrified that they didn't get out of the car. I don't even think they got out of the car to pee or anything, but had they got out of the car, I don't know if they would have been attacked, but they literally had wolves all around them in the pitch dark, and they didn't know it. So, I'll just say this: if you do go in the woods and you're not carrying some kind of protection, you're crazy. But,
Just remember, the most dangerous thing in the woods is a man with a gun.
yeah, and it could be a bad guy with a gun.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing that before I leave and get back to production on the other end, I hid the Bigfoots. I know where
Oh,
they
you were the
are.
one?
I'm the one that hid the Bigfoots.
Okay, so you heard it here.
Yep.
If you want to find a Bigfoot statue,
His
you just
phone
got to pay him
number
off.
is
Yeah.
He can be bought for a sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I will say this. They are all in businesses in and around Glide. So go visit some businesses in Glide and look for a Sasquatch, and you might be one of the big winners. There are 3 more being hidden this week and 3 more being hidden next week as well. So
Wow.
keep getting out there and keep looking for them.
How many total?
There's going to be 10 for this run.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And it is a unique to them. We had it commissioned by your oldest son.
Oh, nice.
He's
Really?
who made it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron made
See
it.
all these secrets I didn't even know.
Hey, we had
Yeah.
quite a bit of time tweaking a lot of details on them too, because at one point the ears were pointed,
Mm-hmm.
and there were weird.
He
things
got a
was
little
going on with the
sexy at one point in
finger.
time.
Yeah,
We
and
had
he
to
got a little-
unsexy the Bigfoot
Yeah,
a
he
little
needed
bit.
to calm down a little bit. I think we reined him back in because it was not appropriate for
Nice,
public at
nice.
one point. But yeah,
I guess I'm going to have
got
to
him
go
pretty
watch
dialed
Harry
in.
and the Hendersons.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Well, have fun. Go find it and visit Glide. It's a great place to go.
yeah. I would love to mention too some of our sponsors and stuff.
Yeah,
So
please do.
We're 5 years into this. It started out very small scale, and we've had a lot of support along the way, and people that were like, you know what, yeah, we think this is going to take off and do it and do something. And to be 5 years in now is a pretty big accomplishment, especially following on the heels of not only COVID, but the 2020 Labor Day fires. So this wouldn't be possible without the Trincaro family.
Yeah.
They've been a title sponsor for years now. Straighter Ranch.
Yep.
Without a location, we wouldn't have the event.
How many acres is that big field?
The field itself.
Yeah,
Oh man. Well,
it's got to be
I did
150.
accidentally catch it on fire once, and I remember Phil yelling at me quite a bit about 20-something acres. So that stands out. I think it's probably close to 15 to 20 acres.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we do not utilize anywhere near the whole field, so there's room to grow.
Yeah.
But they allow us to use the property. They invite almost 5,000 people
Yeah.
out to a private working ranch every year, and they make accommodations for us as well. That includes moving cattle off of it early, making sure it's mowed for us. They do a lot on a business. I mean, it's a business property. It's there to make money, and they make it available to us. So
Yeah.
a big thank you to them. We have Banner Bank, Brook Communications, Lotus Media, Cascade Community Credit Union, Destination Events, Hallman Woodworks, Hallman Granite Shop, Lone Rock, Oregon Pacific Bank, Bucks Sanitary, Roseburg Tourism Service, or the Roseburg Tourism Grant, Seven Feathers and the Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua Tribe of Indians, Quality Fence. We also have organizations and donors that have helped us out years in the past that like this year was a little tough and aren't able to. And actually we're putting some of the banners up regardless because we get it. Like business is good one year, it's not the next, but we still want to thank all of the people that
Sure.
helped us hit 5 years.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big accomplishment for not only our organization, but for the community. And we just really want people to come out to Glide and see what's out there. The recreation is opening back up.
Yep.
I've had a lot of work with BLM and Forest Service and everything else, plus the restaurants and everything out there really need the support from the county. So
I find, of course, I grew up here. Glide, it just seems like a very close knit, area. It seems like everybody knows everybody, but everybody, I will tell you, during the Arch Creek fire, that community stuck together,
Yeah.
and which is how Glide Revitalization ended up kind of starting, was after the Arch Creek fire. Is Glide Revitalization connected to Sasquatch Festival, or is it two separate entities? Or
no, so we are the sponsor. So Glide Sasquatch Festival is run through the nonprofit.
okay,
The festival is never engineered to make money.
okay,
This is not a revenue generating thing for the organization. The
Sure.
sole purpose of the festival is to bring people out to Glide.
gotcha.
We do our best to use all local vendors for us. So, Quality Fence, different things like that. Those are local businesses that we pay to come use their services. And then when we are doing our approval for people that are going to be selling things within the venue,
Yeah.
it's local first. So
Yeah.
if you are a local to Glide, and then we start Douglas County, then we branch out from there. If we can find it in the local area to rent or use, that's where we go first.
I just think it's amazing. Over the years, I've seen festivals kind of come and go. Winston had the Melon Festival, and it's kind of it's starting to come back, but it's been down for a while. Sutherland used to have the Blackbright Festival. Wasn't huge. Now it's huge,
It's huge,
and I think it's really neat. Even Myrtle Creek now has some stuff going on with their summer festival, but to see the Sasquatch Festival really get off the ground and go, I think that's pretty awesome. So thank you for the work you do, and I know you do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that put a lot of time and energy and effort into it between our volunteers and just word of mouth, and it never ceases to amaze me the number of people that all of a sudden my phone will start ringing and, hey, like, I have a pickup this week, do you guys need help setting up?
Yeah.
Without all of those efforts, I mean, we are a very small staff now. None of this would be possible. So, Glide Fire steps in every year. They're now, I don't even have to worry about parking. I've just handed it over to them. That's their thing. It takes the community to make it successful too, and we have a ton of community support, not just in Glide but in the county as a whole. So.
Well, and you have some amazing restaurants up there too. 138 Grill is just, I mean, Christina does a fantastic job. The Atom is amazing. I go up there for breakfast once in a while now too, and even dinner sometimes. Those guys do a great job, and even the Coho Pizza is pretty cool. And to think that all of that is thriving in that such a little small community is really neat. And of course, some of the stuff that 138 Grill did during the Arch Creek fire, I mean, I was a first responder in that fire too, and I did not take the free food because I wanted the rest of the guys who were actually out there with the shovels in their hands get the free food. But I went in there and ate and paid, and I watched it, and they were like, "Hey, you're a first responder, you eat free," and it was just amazing to see. And anyway, so I think all of our local communities could really gain a lot, by the example that you set. So it's pretty cool.
And I mean, so. It was, you've got the local restaurants and stuff too, and like we have Fighting Rivers Drive-In, we have Idlewild Park Store, even the Glide Store has like a food truck now. But through Archie Creek, food was donated to 138. The food was donated to the church. Idlewild Trading Post, anybody that had anything, they asked like, where can we put it? North Uncle Bible Fellowship was a temporary RV park for a while and was doing spaghetti feed dinners. The town really came together and it stayed together for a while. The trick is keeping it together.
Yeah.
So we tend to come together whenever there is either a sensational cause, whether it's a court date or a fire or a flood. But then the key is keeping that unity and sense of community after. And it's a lot harder to do when we start focusing back in on our own needs and our own family, and we just become kind of siloed. So we are trying to find a way to maintain that community mindset of let's take care of each other first. And then if we need additional help, we look outside the community. But.
Well, and you guys with Glide Revitalization have done a lot of that work, especially like with the child care program that you put together, and I know you run it, so I say you guys, and I know there's a lot of folks that work for you, but the leadership that you have given to that, to that entity is just amazing. You guys are out there in front of anything that comes up, and I gosh, what was it? Last week I was talking to a guy that came into my shop, and he said, because I think he lived in, he didn't live in Glide, but he had gotten some money from the flood. And he says, I just assumed that we wouldn't get anything. And he said, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from Glide Revitalization. They wrote me a check for $8,000, to help with the cleanup. And I'm like, yeah. And it was nice because I knew who you guys were and stuff. But, I think that it's people don't know what you do, and just because it says Glide Revitalization, that doesn't mean you guys are restricted to just Glide. I mean, you guys help everybody in Douglas County, and I've tried to help, where I can, legislatively to try to help your guys' cause too, and I'll continue to do that. I think it's important, as well as Senator Brock Smith, and we've all pitched in to help. But again, thank you for everything you've done. I know that people are waiting because they want to hear what we have to say about what went on last night at the city council meeting in Roseburg, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But you have to like and follow us first, or we won't talk.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, like, follow. Anyway, no, I do want to say I want to give just a little plug real quick to some of our sponsors, and I also want to remind everybody we're hitting over 1 million people. So this podcast we have great reach in Oregon, which is nice. And please go on. We're on like 13 different types of channels between we're on YouTube.
Platforms.
What's that?
Platforms.
platforms, right? YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. I mean, however you like to listen to your podcast. If you're driving down the road, we're there forever, so you can go on there and listen to us tomorrow or whatever, or you can watch us tonight or on YouTube. But anyway, with that, I just want to real quick hit a couple sponsors, and then we're going to get into the thing I know you've all been waiting for. Becky Holmes Insurance sent me a new ad today, and I'm going to just read it. Medicare Marketplace Cancer and Hospital Indemnity. She never charges for her services, can interpret the law of insurance. And if you're going to be traveling, see Becky for your travel insurance, short-term medical and trip insurance. Call insurance professionals that you can count on. Becky Holmes, 541-900-6001. Again, 541-900-6001. And Becky is a longtime sponsor of this program and will continue to do that. This doesn't happen for free, so we definitely, we're looking for sponsors, and we appreciate all the help that we've gotten from our sponsors. And Trent, I'll let you talk about Bob Murray.
Well, I'm trying to pull him up here, and I'm having technical, these.
Well, while you're pulling up Bob Murray, I'll talk about the rest of our sponsors. And,
Okay.
We have Andrea Williams Abacare is still a sponsor with us as well, and we also have Commissioner Chris Boyce, who has been a great sponsor. And again, I want to thank Chris Boyce for coming to Salem with us and meeting with the Tyler Dwight's family and going to the hearing. We also have Senator David Brock Smith, who is running against Jeff Merkley, and we hope that he wins that race and
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote. It's coming up in November. Looking Glass Brewery, who the best microbrew in the state, and you can see their sign up behind us here.
And they're just great people. They're now pouring at the soup and salad shop, and Mark was there today,
Yep.
and I had lunch, and he
Yep.
came over and sat and had lunch with me, and just what a great guy.
Oh, they're amazing people. Mark and Lydia, they do a wonderful job. Also, Twin Peaks Off Road, that's my company, Little Mill Media, who puts this on along with Spider King Studio now. They've kind of got this little partnership thing going on, and I don't understand it, but I don't care. As long as the word gets out, they do a great job for us, and I don't know what all they do back there, but I know that we look good, I think. We don't, well, some of us do. Gina looks good. The rest of us,
It's been
Yeah.
a long day.
yeah.
I put a pork chop around my neck so the dog will play with me.
And then you're going to talk about Bob Murray.
Got it. Yep.
Okay.
So I've really gotten to be friends with Bob. I admire this guy not only for what he's built as a businessman, but who he is as a community engager. I mean, he's very engaged with the Republican Party, with us, does a lot with us.
Yeah.
But his company hauls 1 million pounds of earth products every single day, right down to the big hay bales. He basically says, you call, we haul, that's all. I mean, and he's multi-state. So if you need something hauled out of state, there you go. And the other thing he told me too is, and we're going to talk about fire mitigation.
Yeah.
He does that on a little bigger scale than what we're going to talk to about tonight. But if you have that kind of property and you need some mitigation, he can do it for you.
Yeah, he just recently came out and helped. I sent a crew out with a D5 cat, high track cat, to help us on Champagne Creek Ranch. And if you're not familiar with my nonprofit, I'm on the board of the nonprofit Champagne Creek Ranch. I also just got numbers back this week that from the events that we've put on, we have given back $15,000, almost $16,000 to the community, and that goes to help handicapped people be able to get into the woods. Right? I mean, we bought wheelchairs that are outdoor wheelchairs. I mean, it is an amazing nonprofit, and we're also we have tons of different fire trainings and ambulance trainings. Recently, we had a group come in from I don't know where they're from, Michigan or something like that came in and trained there. And now all of the Type 6 engines and fire brush rigs in the entire state of Oregon,
Right.
if you're going to be qualified to run one, you have to go through Champagne Creek Ranch to get the training for DPSST. So Bob came out, didn't charge us. They helped us get the ranch all fire trailed, and I think our neighbors appreciate it. So we definitely are mitigated. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about fire mitigation with insurance before we get into
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that first, then we'll
Okay,
get into the
okay.
rest of it.
All right, stay with us. We are going to
Yeah.
talk about last night.
So one of the things is, most of you know that for the last 16 years, I'm a licensed insurance professional. I do everything from retirement income planning to homes and autos. I even have multiple ranches big ranches across the state insured. I grew up a cowboy, so I get along with cowboys really well. But one of the things that's big on the horizon for insurance companies right now, I just sat through a meeting this morning, is preventative care for your home, mitigation for your home for fire. And the reason it's a big deal is because where we live, we don't think about it. And some of the minor things you need to think about: where your lawnmower fuel is stored, not in your house or your garage attached to your house. Where your firewood's stored, not under the deck next to your house. Those are all propellants that will burn your house. Most people, when I talk to my clients about that, one of the things that comes up, and I'll come out and, field underwrite a house before we place the policy. And I'll go, well, you need to cut your shrubs back at least 2 feet from the house. You've got trees dripping down. You need to cut those back so they're at least, if you got a tree over here that's 15 feet away, you need to
Clean your gutters.
Take care of all that. One of the things that's really interesting with brush encroachment, which is common in Glide, Dillard, Sutherland, Oakland, that kind of thing, you need at least 30 feet of space. And after seeing Archie Creek, I don't even think that's enough. One of the things that I learned in
2 miles wouldn't have been enough.
A fire like Archie Creek can reach 2,500 degrees. At 2,500 degrees, the carbon dioxide in air burns, so things self-destruct. So if you have that buffer, make sure your yards are watered. And if they turn brown in the summertime, and this is a big deal, don't mow it. Use an electric weed eater, take your time, but don't run your mower because it can start, the hot metal blade can start
fire.
Yep.
Sure.
Matter of fact, down out of Days Creek or Canyonville, RFP lost a lot of timber because a guy decided to run his riding lawnmower and it caught the grass on fire. So, if you have any questions about home mitigation, feel free to contact me. I'd love to go over that with you. Fire season started last week.
Yep.
I don't ever remember it starting in May very often.
No, and it's rained ever since. So.
Yeah, but it's still extremely dry out there because the hydration point is way down in the ground.
Yeah.
And that's what creates the moisture dew in the morning, is the moisture coming up out of the dirt.
Yeah.
And it's going away. So we've had very low humidity mornings. The other morning when I got was 28%.
Dwayne Waller said Stouts Creek fire.
That's what it was. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dwayne.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other fires that I actually had clients that it came around their house, Glide, and the guy was mitigated, and the fire actually changed position and went down the hill away from his house because he had took his tractor a month early and put his 20-foot wide dirt path around his pasture.
Well, and that's what we do on Champagne Creek. We run every year. I run the cats through. We usually use 2 dozers, and we run them through the entire perimeter of the property, and that's obviously for our own benefit, but as well as our neighbors.
Right.
And frankly, knock on wood, we've never started a fire, but our neighbor did.
Had
a couple of years ago. Our neighbor tried to burn us down, and thank God, our other neighbor had a cat on hand, and he took it through his fence and put the fire out at the top of the mountain. But that's this is the time of year, and a lot of those fires up the North Umpqua start on the North Umpqua Highway.
And it doesn't take much to start them.
No, it really doesn't. The cigarette thrown out the window, or there's all kinds of little things that can start a fire.
Right.
Hopefully we're not losing our internet feed. I saw it just did the spinning wheel of death for a second, but hopefully we're not losing our internet feed. Anyway, okay, so what you've all been waiting to hear is my thoughts and what I know about what happened last night at the city council meeting for Roseburg. So, frankly, I didn't watch the hearing. I didn't attend the hearing, and I had no intentions of even commenting on the hearing until my phone blew up. And and so I have been getting pretty much continuous calls about the decision to create I guess, vote on and approve the ordinance for sanctuary cities. So I will tell you this. Oregon is a sanctuary state. Do I like it? No, I hate it. I don't think we should be a sanctuary state, and I think it contributes to our homeless issue. And I also think it contributes to I mean, we're on Interstate 5. We have a horrible, horrible drug problem. Thank God, at least in Douglas County, we have a great sheriff's department. But the fact that this is a sanctuary state, and trust me, I've been to Arizona. I've been to where the border crossings were happening. There are people that were crossing the border that had road maps to Portland. And I'm not making that up. That was what really happens because they know it's a main line for the drug distributions between wherever they cross and come up. The fact of the matter is the sanctuary state is just that. It's a sanctuary state, and it's controlled by the legislature. The only way we're going to undo that is either by initiative petition, or the legislature would have to undo the sanctuary state. Frankly, we are the Republican Party, the Conservative Party is in the minority, and we don't have the ability to even get a hearing on a bill that would take away the sanctuary state. Now, that said, state law trumps city law and county law. And what happened last night, and I've called a couple of different counselors that are on city council. What happened last night did not change anything that was not already in effect. It did put the ordinance into the city charter, I suppose. But the fact is that what it said was the city cops they can't help, or city staff cannot help with ICE, right? But if a judge puts out a search warrant or some sort of a retainer to go get somebody, and it says specifically he can say that the local cops have to help with that. And whatever laws that are passed in Oregon by either Oregon state itself or the county itself or the city itself do not trump federal law. So as hard as they want to keep ICE out of Douglas County, and I'm not a fan of that at all, as hard as they'd like to keep ICE out of Douglas County, they can't do that. You can't discriminate against the feds. You can pass an ordinance. You can even be Governor Kotek, and you can do stupid things like you've seen plenty of that, where she's denounced Trump and she's denounced ICE. And guess what? ICE is still there. They're still in Portland. I don't know what the status is about coming to Roseburg. I understand they're trying to rent something in Roseburg. I really don't care, as far as I'm concerned. I think that ICE goes after people that have reasons for ICE to go after. And I also am to the point, frankly, where I feel like, and I'll just say it because I'm pretty honest and open, I think that it's tragic that we are allowing homeless people to be homeless. And, there's lots of answers to that, but I don't see where it's good for somebody to be in a tent in the wintertime, or hell, for that matter, in the summertime, when they need to be in rehab. They need to be, and I know our county just did a major drug bust with the homeless people down here, whatever they call it, the Point or whatever. And the majority of the people that were homeless down there were also offending drug dealers, users, whatever. And it's time that we take the controls and we go after these folks, and we give them the opportunity to either go to jail or go to rehab and find a way to get back into society. It's one thing and again, it's not that I'm not empathetic or sympathetic to the homeless folks. I get it. There are lots of reasons why people are homeless, but we can't just keep turning our back on them and saying, oh, it's okay, you can be homeless, and we're going to make it easier. We're going to be a sanctuary city, a sanctuary state. You can come here. And that's what happens when you're a sanctuary state. They tend to come here because it's easy to live here, because they can't break a law. There's no laws. They get to do whatever they want. And, I pray that we end up with a governor that's not Tina Kotek in November, and that would be Christine Drazen, and hopefully we can undo some of the damage that has been done. I know the city of Grants Pass has tried. They got sued, and frankly, in some of the discussions I had today with some of our city councilors, I said I would have still voted no, even though you knew it was going to pass for this sanctuary ordinance. I would have voted no. Out of principle. And, the answer I got was, well, there was a lot of pressure. I said, well, I live with that every day. I get a lot of pressure, but I hold my conservative values. And I also said, 75% of the people in Douglas County probably would have been okay with a no vote. 25% of the people may not have been okay with it. They might have been, but of that 25%, 10% of them probably, really don't care. So it's a very small group of people that are just asking for more and more out of your pocket to take care of people that don't want to be contributing to society. Now, I don't mean that in a mean way. I think that if you don't want to contribute to society, or you don't want to, if you, hell, for that matter, if you can't clean yourself up or don't even try, then you need to not be crapping in the city parks. Now, I'm preaching a little bit, but I'm going to go on with a little bit more. I have had a lot of people that go after our commissioners, and they talk about how our commissioners are not fixing this problem. I challenge you to go to a county park and find a tent, or find a squatter, or find an old motorhome. You don't see that in the county parks. Now, I'm not going to say it never happens, because I think it does occasionally happen, but those our commissioners don't tolerate it. Our sheriff doesn't tolerate it. They do something about it. When you have a city council, like what's happening in Roseburg, that tends to be a little more on the lenient side, I wouldn't even say a little more, I'd say they're flat out being pretty liberal. They don't give the police chief the ability to go out and do anything, or public works for that matter, right? Not saying they don't ever do anything, and they do work when people complain. When you see a dumpster that's flowing over at Gaddis Park, I mean, they will go out and clean it up because there's enough peer pressure and enough community pressure to make them do it. But the fact is, somebody has to stand up to these people and say, we're going to push it right to the edge of getting sued. Suing somebody is not free. You have to spend time, money, and effort to sue somebody. So, you got to make it a little harder to be what some of those folks want to be.
Right.
Again, with sympathy toward people who can't help it, and I know there's plenty of that out there too. And I don't ever want to be thought of as this guy that hates homeless, because I don't. And in fact, I'm attending a meeting this week with some of our local advocates for homeless, and we're going to try to work on some things. And Commissioner Boyce is going to join us in that meeting. But I think that it's time we get off our asses and we do something about it. It's just that time. Otherwise, what is our state going to be? I mean, we're already trending toward California. California is a hot mess. Washington is just, we're going the wrong direction, guys, and we need to turn this around. Okay, now that I've preached, go ahead, Trent. I know you got something to say.
Yeah, so that brings me to one of my point. My business, I've been in business, like I said, for 16 years here in Roseburg. Even though I live in Winston, my business is based out of here, and a lot of my clients are based out of here. A lot of my friends, we've had businessmen right here on the show with us.
Yeah.
And when the city starts paying thousands of dollars a month to clean up the park down below Waldron's on the river every month, but won't take it any farther, all they do is go down and clean up for those people and not hold them accountable to anything. Time for change. Yeah. I'm sorry if it offends you. Go home, get on your knees. Thank God you ain't me.
Yeah.
But it's time for change. And I'm challenging. If you're listening to us tonight and you are interested in running for city council and are a conservative qualifier, I want to talk to you as chair of the Republican Party. We want to have a conversation with you. We want to talk about strategies to do exactly what you're talking about, to work with the city and not just be a dumping ground.
Right.
Because that's what it's become. I'm sorry, Governor Kotek, you've done nothing but throw money away.
Yeah.
Supposedly you're putting medicine on a wound, but you're not. You're making it bigger.
For sure. And I know last long session...
Sorry about the rant.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's what we're here for. Last long session, Police Chief Kloppenstein came and asked to run a bill that would have... So this is some weird stuff, but when the city goes and cleans up homeless camps, they can't just throw the stuff away. They have to wait. They have to
30 days, I think, or 60.
Yeah.
I think it's 60.
Yeah, I think it depends too on if it's in like city limits or outside. So I know when ODOT cleans up, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's just garbage. I mean, it's tense.
But not
sure
to them.
Yeah, not to them. And I'm sure there's going to be something that's not garbage in there. That's probably something they stole, or whatever. And Chief Kloppenstein asked if I would run a bill to try to narrow that timeline down, because it costs the city money to have those storage containers, which is what they're doing. And, frankly, the Democrats wouldn't even give me a hearing on it. And that is the state's problems start in Salem. And I say I'm part of Salem. Now, I'm on the conservative side, and I fight to try to change this stuff. But we need to put pressure on Salem. And it needs to start, and of course, Douglas County always does, but we need to do more and more of that. frankly, the sanctuary law is a state law.
Yep.
So what happened last night at City Council, and I realize there's a lot of angry people, and basically what happened last night was City Council basically said, okay, well, we're just going to say that we're already doing this, but we're going to continue to do it. Nothing changed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing really changed. It's crappy. I would have liked to have seen them not. In fact, that's what I suggested to one of the counselors. Like, why didn't you guys just postpone it? Just don't even do it. Well, they're getting a lot of pressure from some of the folks that are more on the liberal side to do something. And some of those folks are pissed because they didn't do enough.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I think you did enough. Go
Well,
ahead.
and it gets back to my comment. If you're a conservative, and I don't care if you're a Republican, an independent, libertarian, it's time to get off. Okay, I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. It's time to get off your ass.
Yeah.
Get engaged.
Yeah.
Quit bitching and get engaged and do the right thing. Vote for the candidates that
Yeah.
are there.
And understand this. I'll leave everybody with this thought. Your vote counts.
Yes.
Not voting counts twice.
Yes.
If you don't vote, it's just like voting for the other team. So your vote does count. I don't care what some of the local people that were running tell you, how your vote doesn't count and the election was stolen and all that crap. The election was not stolen in Douglas County. In Douglas County, Republicans won. I won. We won.
Big.
And in red counties, Republicans win. In blue counties, Democrats win. And we can get into the whole discussion about what's happening in California, but I don't even want to get into that tonight. But you gotta vote. You have to vote. We need to quit this nonsense. And
You
just
need to
vote.
call your friends.
Yeah, you need to call your
I've
friends,
been
tell them to vote.
challenging everybody. Call 10 people.
Yeah.
And I had a guy, well, I don't know 10 people. And it's like, yes, you do. You know a fireman? Yeah.
Everybody knows 10.
Everybody knows 10 people. If not, go to the grocery store and tell 10 people you need to vote.
Yeah. You got to vote. And,
Sounds simplistic.
I just don't know if I like 10 people.
good point. You're not wrong. We'll get in politics.
Oh, boy,
Well, you're already involved in
I
politics.
thought I was the comedy relief.
I mean, and that's and frankly, your election was a good example.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that was overwhelmingly won, but you have the naysayers saying the election was stolen and all this stuff. And again, I don't want to get into that, but the fact of the matter is, your vote counts.
Yep.
And people win because they're good people. And I will tell you, in this state, my experience has been, people don't like hate, right?
Mm-mm.
And there's a percentage of people that will support hate. They will support the negativity. It doesn't whether it be on the Democrat side, Republican side, or whatever. And they will support cutting people down and all the nastiness. And we saw a lot of that in the governor race. But at the end of the day, people don't want that. That's not what people are turned on to. People want people that want to legitimately do the work, serve the people, and do the damn job. And frankly, I think in Douglas County, we're very lucky. We have very committed folks. And Gina, you're part of it. I mean, you're part of the Umpqua Public Transit District, and you're an elected official as well. But our commissioners are good. They fight for the people. And I mean, the list. And the funny thing to me is, and I often say this to them, they don't get the credit for the things they do that they don't tell people they do. And instead they get cut down for not doing things that people want them to do or whatever the case may be. But the fact of the matter is, where would we be right now had they not done something about the budget 8 years ago? Right? I mean, they started in on this thing. We lost our timber revenue. And, again, I'll just say it. I mean, I have people from Tiller that are blowing my phone up and blowing my emails up about how they want the investment in Tiller. And I'll remind them that Tiller was built on logging. The same people that are complaining about the town of Tiller, what's left of it, is pretty much gone away, including the Forest Service. I mean, everybody's kind of abandoned Tiller. The same people don't want logging. It's not how it works. The reason that road to South Umpqua Falls is paved is not because the Forest Service just felt comfortable spending, who knows, millions of dollars to pave it. They did it for log trucks and to mitigate fire issues and to manage our forest. And now the same folks don't want any of that work done. They want to save all the trees, but yet they want all that business back. Well, tourism. Yeah. Well, I don't know how many people go to South Umpqua Falls. I'm pretty sure it's not enough to create a town.
Yeah. And and the sad thing is there's so much merchantable timber out there. We could log a lot and not catch up. If we took 2 billion board feet a year,
Yeah,
we wouldn't catch
And
up.
Commissioner Freeman has those numbers, and I wish I could
Yeah.
rattle them off as well as he does. But yeah, it's anyway.
Yeah.
So listen, we're getting close. We're probably a little over our time at this point, but I want to give Gina a chance to. You may or may not want to close on this, but anything you want to close with?
Well, I kind of have two things. I probably won't say it very articulately, but you talked about that you don't get credit for what you don't talk about or whatever. I fall into the same trap with like the work we do in a nonprofit and stuff. I was brought up where you don't talk about what you're doing, you let your actions speak for themselves. But unfortunately, the world we live in these days, that's not attractive. It needs to be flashy sound bites, and people are attracted now to drama and sensational. It doesn't catch somebody's attention to just do the right thing. And that's what this is leading me to is you talked about getting involved and talking to other people. And I would say her name, but I didn't ask her if I could say this, but I was at something earlier today and something has stuck with me since I heard the person speaking say it. And it was that sometimes when she's stalled out and there's 9 million other things to do and isn't really being productive or doesn't know if what they're doing is the right thing, they just do one right thing. They look at their list of things to do or what's going on around them and they do one right thing. And what inevitably happens is one right thing leads to another right thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I think if more of us had that mindset of I'm not necessarily going to try to change everything, but today, this moment, right now, I'm just going to do one right thing.
Yeah.
It would change everything.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to end it.
Yeah. Go to commercial. No.
I agree. And Gina, I have to say, and I've known you now for, I don't know how many years, a few, and I've seen you do the right thing a lot. And I've seen Glide Revitalization be out in front and be the lead on, and this is one of those things people don't know that you guys were the entity that helped everybody during the flood, right? And a lot of that money came through me because I was on the phone with the governor, literally twisting her arm saying, hey, we need help. But money doesn't just come from the state. It comes from the state and it goes to a nonprofit that distributes that money where it's needed, right? You don't just get a check from the feds or a check from the state. Right. You get a check from Glide Revitalization. And Gina and her staff, they're the ones that handle that work. And a lot of times that means field visits, that means a lot of effort, that means a lot of decisions. And if you're sitting there with $1 million and you got $1 million,
$10 million in need.
You got $10 million in problems, you have to decide where that $1 million goes, right? I mean, distribute it out the best you can for so it's not brain dead stuff. You got to really think about it, and you never get the credit for that. And you get it from me, and we brag about the work you do, and I appreciate what you do. So thank you for everything you do.
Well, yeah, thank you. And like I said, so it wasn't, yeah, I picked up the phone and was like, hey, this is the situation, but you put in the work in the background, and the county too. When I started looking at the numbers we gave the state for what it was going to cost between us and Harney County, I will say about 1% is what was approved.
Yeah.
So when I went to the county too and said, hey, there's a huge gap in what the state is willing to put money towards and what the need is. And one of that big needs was roads. And that's not something the state typically puts money towards is culverts and roads. But we know being rural and where we're at, it is essential. Yeah. And the county put a lot of money towards helping too. And they just said, here, tell us where it needs to go. Yeah. And then we got it out to the people where it needed to go. But it takes everyone and it takes leadership. And right now in Douglas County, I feel like we do have across the board in a lot of places really good leadership, and we just need to keep that momentum.
Yeah, and I agree. And we don't want to screw any of that up. Trent, you have any closing thoughts? You got some events coming up too.
I do, but first thing I want to say thank you to Gina. That was great stuff. And the Sasquatch Festival, one thing that really ticked with me, she brings local businesses first. And if I can't buy it here, then I'll go somewhere else. But if I can buy it here, I won't buy it out of town. I was brought up that way. My parents said, the guy out of town that you're spending your money with, he does nothing for the community you live in.
Yeah.
And I'll live and die by that. And I'd ask you guys, come up to the Sasquatch Festival. I went last year. I got to go to the dinner last year, going this year, and it's a lot of fun. I have 2 events coming up. June 27th, we have the All-American Barbecue celebrating 250 years as a country.
I'm wearing a muscle shirt. I'm wearing a flag.
You
muscle
are?
Shirt. I am.
I got
I'm
the
not sitting in
I got
that
the bib overall shorts that look like a flag.
Yeah.
My wife said she was not going out the door with
I'm
me.
doing it. I
Yeah.
don't care.
That's not true. I'm not doing that. But anyway, we're only going to be probably selling tickets for about another week. We still have about 50 tickets left. Would love, if you're listening to this and you're a conservative, you need to come to this. We're going to have great speakers. As of right now, you're the anchor speaker.
Yeah,
Claire Lynn is
what I
going to speak with us. She is running for Boomer Wright's seat over in Reedsport.
Yeah.
We're going to have Monique Despain and, of course, David Brock Smith. Got some cool things. Josh Frazier is going to lead a flag procession playing the bagpipes, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. That is really cool.
And I have a powerhouse singer going to do the national anthem in Shira Goebel. She's about that tall. I see eye to eye with her.
His height, yeah.
And her voice is
5'3". Got it.
incredible. She's one of the best a cappella national anthems I've ever heard. And going to be a great day. We're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs, strawberry shortcake, great speakers. It's going to be a great day. We have some sponsorships left, tables left, just a couple. But the tickets are $75 a ticket.
Yeah.
Get a hold of us through the Douglas County Republican headquarters.
You can call me too.
Or call Virgil or Facebook me, whatever you want. Come to this event and just come check it out. That's how you get engaged. I will. If you have something that you've always wanted to ask David Brock Smith, this is the place to be, because
he'll talk to you.
He'll talk to you.
Then you know I will.
It's an open invitation to any of us. We
Yes.
can all ask him whatever question we want.
Yeah. Or Monique Despain. Monique's very interesting candidate compared to a lot of candidates just because of her background.
Yeah.
So she has a different view coming from the JAG end of things in the military. She's a retired full bird colonel, which is a big deal. So anyways, come check it out. And then July 25th at our favorite house, Looking Glass Brewery. Where'd it go? There it is.
Yeah.
There, I knew it was there somewhere. We're going to have a meet and greet and basically a conservative unity party. And we're going to you can meet the candidates. Knock on wood, we're going to have Christine Drazen there.
Yeah, we need to invite her.
We did, but you need to follow up, make sure she goes.
Yeah, I need to.
That's
follow
your
up.
job.
Yeah. Okay.
Twist her little arm.
I can do that.
And we're going to have a bunch of other candidates. But the idea is this year we have the unique. We can win the state this year, guys. There was 322,000, and I forgot to bring my paper with me. Doggone it. Republicans that didn't vote in the last governor
we
election.
lost by 60,000, and there was 300,000 that didn't vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even want to hear about not voting because it doesn't matter. Because it would have freaking mattered, and we would have won.
Yep.
So,
and
yeah.
we wouldn't be having conversations like
This one.
or the referendums or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, folks, give us a call. Come out to these things. The one at Looking Glass is free to come to. Just make sure to tip your bartender and have a good time. And we will look to see you guys there.
Awesome. And I will say this. I'm going to just give everybody a sneak preview. So are you ready for this? This is top secret information I just found out today. Anybody that hates timber should like this because it's not timber related. We have a new, I won't say new, we have a current business in Roseburg area that is going to be doing some add-ons, and they're going to employ another 120 people. So, and again, the commissioners don't even know about this. I just found out about this today. So this is good
Nice.
stuff, and I'll tell them about it later. But right now, we're working on trying to get the power company involved and get this could happen in August. So it's pretty good news. So I know a lot of folks don't understand the way business works as far as how businesses come into a community. But we have a very robust non-timber industry here, between things like Seven Robotics, Convey Keystone, FCC Commercial Furniture, Ingram Books. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's a very robust Romtech.
Caddock.
Yeah, Caddock Electric and Glide. I don't think people should. I know, again, like I said, there's a lot of people that hate timber. There's a lot of stuff besides timber in this county, and we need to keep timber needs to stay because we need to continue to have a workforce. So we need to continue to have a strong economy here, I'm just there's a whole bunch of really good stuff that's coming down the pipe, and I'm really happy to say that. So more information on that when I can tell everybody, I'll let everybody know, but I don't want to let the cat out of the bag right now. Okay, with that. Again, thank you to our sponsors for sponsoring us. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Please like and follow us. The more you like and follow us, the stronger we get. The more you'll hear from us. Hopefully, that's all good. And we really, really appreciate it. We want to also give a special thank you to Spider King Studios and also to Justin. These guys have done a great job for us in keeping this podcast. I don't know what number this is, but I think we probably, I don't know. 53. Number 53 in podcasts that we put out now, and we're continuing to be strong. Our viewing has stayed strong as well, and I think we're making a difference.
Yeah.
Again, we are always open to questions, and part of the reason, the main reason for this podcast is to bring government to the people. And cut out the middleman and cut out the BS, right? I am your House District 2 state representative, and often we have Alex Scarlatos on here, we had David Brock Smith on here, Dwayne Yunker, a lot of our other representatives elected, as well as our commissioners and other elected folks. The point in that is to say, if you have a question, ask us, and we will tell you. And I'm not afraid to say it I'll say it to the whole world. I don't hide my answers. I don't make a very good politician sometimes. That's okay. I was put in this position by the people that asked me to represent them, and I'll continue to do that. And that's just how it's going to be until they decide they want somebody else. So, or until I get old, which is not that far away. But
yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, anyway. All right, with that, again, thank you so much, and thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, and come to the Sasquatch Festival. It's a great event, and if you miss it, shame on you. I plan on being there this year myself. And again, if you need information, contact myself, contact Gina, Trent. We can all help you with that. And thank you, and have a great night, and we will see you next Tuesday.